Hello, I am just getting off work. It's Friday and I'm about to read. What a nerd. I'm just kidding. I'm just going to do this really quick before I start cooking. I have mentioned before that I'm studying the Paul Leon Masters, Dr. Leon Masters, uh, his metaphysical science program. And I wanted to share another chapter with you. It is um, the ninth module of their study material, and it's called Channeling God Power into Your Daily Activities. It was a really good chapter, so I'm just going to try and share that here. I can't get much bigger. That should be good enough. At least you can follow along right here. Alrighty, so I'm going to read this real quick and then just in this video, because that's the main thing. Channeling God power into your daily activities. Alright, this is again from a lesson in metaphysical science, the new dimensions in spiritual understanding and practices. Go ahead and get started. The true doer is God. For most people today, life is a struggle, given that they believe they are alone against the powers that be. This is a false notion, thought to be true by society in general. In reality, you are not alone in what you attempt to accomplish. In fact, whether you realize it or not, you are not even the doer. Since they are unaware of this truth, people take the burden upon their conditioned intellect and limited strength to undertake what they must in life. Christ pointed out the truth of the matter when he said, "It is not I, but the Father that doeth these good works." If you can begin to believe that it is not you, but the power and presence of God working through you that does all types of good in your life, you will have discovered the success secret of the ages. Christ pointed again to this truth when he said, "Be ye as the lilies of the field, for they spin and toil not. Yet Solomon, in all his glory, was not adorned as one of these." He was correcting the myth based on society's limited concept of man's being, that man must struggle through life. Christ and other mystics down through the ages have discovered that a higher mind, the very presence of God within, is the actual doer, if one will but allow it. Part of the Christ consciousness and the awakening that we're seeing is it's just repetitive in every different work that you see. Some great people have posted different videos and resources for me on some of my videos, and it's always, it's very true. It's very true. The teachings overlap. There's different people that speak the same message. I even got a comment once by someone saying, "Oh, you're copying so-and-so's work," when I did the series on the Pluto and Scorpio generation, and transcribing that message. And again, it's just like, we are not the owners. There's no shackles on information. There's no shackles on truth, right? So it's not about, certainly if I went ahead and read this and didn't give credit to the owner, then that would be one thing. But every teacher throughout time has been, since we've had materials written down and we have teachers in schools, they've been reiterating and sharing a message in a different voice, sharing someone else's message, because people receive it in different ways. I know that I talked to Sally Cooper on this, Sally Jo M. Cooper, that I met from the Sorting Myself Out channel, and we were just going back and forth about the concept of how that's something that we should look into, how different messages are received just differently, and it clicks based on who is delivering that message. So you could have so many different speakers, just like with music. People have an affinity to certain music, but a lot of times the content and the material in that is still the same. They're still sharing the same message. You can make songs about love, you can make songs about despair, you can make songs about making money, and you can make songs about drinking alcohol. You hear songs about alcohol in country music just as well as you do in hip hop and whatnot. So it's all about the preference of the vehicle that sends the message to whereas consciousness, excuse me one second, let me silence this. So it's not about trying to take the message, although there is a lot of that mimicking energy going around, people trying to sit there and take notes and trying to steal your essence. You can't do that when you're in alignment with divine principles, and the idea is, again, that we share the message and be the channel for that God power to flow through you, which is what we're about to read right here. Getting back to the message, at becoming a vehicle and a channel. Your body and mind can serve as a vehicle and a channel for the power of the God mind within. In ultimate truth, God is the real life and real self of your being. This is what Christ tried to convey when saying, "The Father and I are one," and again when he stated, "He who has seen me has seen the Father that sent me." We were sent forth into incarnation, and we have the anointment of that consciousness that sparks and animates our vehicles. When we are bogged down by negative and things that are meant in this realm to kind of distract us from our divinity, then you're going to be, I like to imagine it as a soul floating just outside of the body, and you're just an empty vehicle. Like you can drive a drone and fly a plane out there and you're not really physically in it, or like we land rovers on different planets, which Bruce Lipton describes it as consciousness is what's driving the vehicle, and you're not necessarily in that seat until you clean out your vessel and become a clear channel to be a vehicle to express your divinity on earth. I still can't get over listening to Sevan Seven Bomar talk about that, and he talks about how he had to stop eating what do you say, croissants and all kind of heavy, those kinds of foods, and I was like, dang man, I don't know if I can get that clean, because bread is my thing. Anyways, back to this. Right about here. Your own sense of personal existence is a conditioned belief based on society's lack of awareness of true self-being. Once this erroneous belief is removed from the mind, your mind and body become open channels for the power of God to do and accomplish in your life. As you release that control, if you will it to be, so it is. Mental synthesis and the God power in you to open the mind and in turn the body as a channel and vehicle for God power to flow through. You must first synthesize the mind to the mind, presence, and perfection of God as your true self. Your true self is God, is deity, is divine. We're not taking the place of, I don't know, forming an idol of yourself, false gods, things like that. It's just recognizing the true essence of source. If you break it down to science, particle physics, down to the very source, there is nothing separating me from this chair, from this wall, from this space. There's nothing separating. It's all broken down to the same essence, and that essence is the source of all. So science proves divinity. It just doesn't admit it. And then we're talking about that God, that source. That is you, your true self. It's not about atheism and all that. No, it's about basic principles and natural law. And if you reject this, then it's not true for you. But if you accept it, you unlock some mystical opportunities to move through life with less of a struggle. And again, some religions teach you that you should struggle, so it's something that we should question. So why does it want me to struggle? Because I serve and I fuel that energy towards amplifying someone else, which is usually someone who's postured up in a place to receive that divine power, that worship power that you're giving. Think of the way different structures are set up in churches and whatnot. Again, there's nothing wrong with religion. That religion is the highest embodiment of consciousness that the human race has come up with up to that point, right before this Aquarian age, where we illuminate and we fall beyond that, because as Alice Bailey taught us, the obedience to that worship, that kind of dedication, is likened to an animal loyalty, like domesticated animals to their owners. We're going to evolve beyond that to become the owner and the master of our own life instead of serving a master. Continuing on. Mental synthesis with the God power in you. To open the mind and in turn the body as a channel and vehicle for God power to flow through, you must first synthesize the mind to the mind presence and perfection of God as your true self. The reality of oneness with God must be greater in your mind than any conditioned limitations that society has placed on your sense of selfhood. To accomplish this, use the synthesizing affirmations below. Each day, here's our assignment, each day for the next week, read them aloud and allow the truth of these affirmations to take over your body and mind. Channeling God power through you. Every day after reading the synthesizing affirmations, read the channeling affirmations. The synthesizing affirmations create oneness with the power, the God power in your mind, and the channeling affirmations will allow the God power to flow through and into your daily activities. And here are those synthesizing affirmations. I'm not going to be able to fit them all on one screen right now. Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Here we go. I am one mind with the mind of God within me. I am one with the presence of God within me. I am one in spirit with the Spirit of God within me. I am one in power with the power of God within me. I am one with the creative presence of God within me. I am one with the healing power of God within me. I am one with the love of God within me. I am one with the potential of God within me. I am one with the unlimited freedom of God within me. I am one with the peace of God within me. I am one with the life of God within me. I am one with the divine harmony of God within me. I am one with the unlimited supply of God within me. I am one with the prospering power of God within me. I am one with the accomplishment of God within me. I am one in body with the perfection of God within me. I am one in the manifestation of God within me. I am one with the ultimate reality of God within me. I am one with the renewing power of God within me. I am one with the transforming power of God within me. I am one with the totality of God within me. I am one with the divine light of God's being within me. I am one in identity with God within me. I am perfect, even as God within me is perfect. And then just before we go and finish this up, you can just see how feeding your mind that mental food and those affirmations, it just feels good, and it's a lot like listening to a song, because songs with a chorus and how it repeats over and over again, that's an affirmation to you. And when you think about how there's music, like when Kesha came forward and said that she really didn't want to sing that song with those lyrics repeating over and over again, something like we're gonna die young, and it's over and over again, singing, I'm gonna die young, we're gonna die young. That's an affirmation. And you know the song lyrics get stuck in your head, and the chorus is usually the part that replays over and over again, right? So then you're subconsciously doing this. And those who put that magic in the industry know exactly what they're doing. They're helping you to affirm certain messages. So pay attention to choruses, pay attention to affirmations, and counter that, and maybe change something that you're listening to, or just make sure you balance it out by feeding yourself, getting tongue-tied, some of the right mental food, which is some of these affirmations, which is just like a repeating chorus over and over to yourself, so that it seeps into the subconscious and it takes shape in your life. Finishing up here. Give yourself these affirmations every day for 7 days, just 7 days, and or whenever you feel a need to synthesize yourself with God power. These affirmations are also useful as a mental warm-up before going into a deep state of meditation, where you're seeking spiritual awareness through greater mystical union. Let the mind be in you that was in Christ. This is a quote from St. Paul. I love that one. Channeling God power. Give yourself the following channeling affirmations every day for several days or at any time thereafter when you wish to open yourself to the God power within to flow through you. And again it says, "It is not I, but the Father within me that doeth these works." Jesus Christ. Almost done. Relax, take a deep breath, and say these channeling affirmations. My mind is an open channel for the power of God. My body is an open vehicle for the power of God. My life each day is governed by the life of God. My life and the life of God are one each day. My every thought each day is guided by the mind of God. The power of God flowing through me prospers me. The power of God radiating in me heals me. The eternal peace of God throughout my being calms me. The essence of love as the presence of God vibrates love through me each day. God moves my lips and guides my communications each day. God directs my footsteps in direction each day. Wherever I am and whatever I may be doing, in reality, it is God who is there and God who is the one doing. Remember again as we close out with this other quote, and it looks like another one from Jesus Christ, that this is not a dogma. This is not anything where we're surrendering ourselves, like Ayn Rand was very much against surrendering ourselves to a big God, what makes us an itty-bitty person that's helpless in our lives. This is about assuming control, letting our soul incarnate into our body and be the vehicle and driving force of our divine spark, allowing us to live as we were meant to do, meant to live. And so yes, as you're saying this, we're not talking about some big God that judges up in a chair. We're talking about the God that you sit upon your throne as you sit in your chair, and you're invoking that energy. And again, we are making it very clear that we're not invoking any old God that any old person in any warped religions or mindsets tell us that we're worshiping. This is very clear. We're talking about our own divinity, our God self, our source. Okay? Closing up with this quote. Give not thought what you shall say before you are brought before the judges. For verily I say unto you, at that very moment, the words shall be on your lips. Jesus Christ. Alrighty. That right there is it. I'm going to end this here, just under 20 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.